Are we going? Are we going? Are we going? Things seem to be running a little badly today, and I'm slightly unsure as to why. We'll figure it out. Welcome back, WCW and WWF from the 80s. 90s to be in fact. Let's just get straight into it. I keep saying a lot. 4th of April, 12th of April. I assume we're still kind of in this, the tri-state locker room incidents. What's the general crack? We're on WCW Power Hour, so that'll be our auto book show. Tracy Smothers has an idea. Ann Anderson did some training. Tony Schiavone and the Italian Stallion and Dick Murdoch all decide to have problems with Tony Schiavone. Whoever the morale officer is, we all saw that. George South pulled a classic rib on Art Bar. And then Alfonso pulled a classic rib on George South. WCW locker room just seems to be getting on. Whereas the WWF one, not really. Not as bonding. This is what I mean. This is kind of running like shit. Just auto book the whole show, I think. Book whole show. No one should be away to cause an issue. Add enough matches to kind of satiate what's going on. This looks fine to me. Interview with Bill Casimir and the Rock and Roll Express. That's the team I need. So much more angles. So we don't, by the looks of it, we don't have to change any times for anything. So we have WCW Power opening. Let me get comfortable. My foot went dead at one point, so I wasn't comfortable, and now I'm not as comfortable as I once was. Is Paulie made his way up to Major Star? Has Arn and Wyndham made their way up to Star? Actually, I take like 2 days off, and then I can't remember who's on what kind of perspective. Is that what it is? Interview with Eaton, Arn, and Ole Anderson. And cutting a promo, same with Bobby Eaton. They can cut that on Rick Steiner and Scott Steiner. Simple enough. The Diamond Stud against Scott Armstrong. Stick the stud over. Interview Ron Simmons on Steve Austin. To be honest, I think Simmons is slowly going on to feud with Vader. Because they have, I remember Ron Simmons being the first black WCW champion. Unless I'm lying. And they have started to like mention that in Simmons promos. Video featuring Rick and Scott Steiner. Perfect. And finally, we have Bill Kazmaier and the Rock and Roll Express against Thomas Rich and La Pera del Terra. Instead of La Pera del Terra, do we have just like another heel team we can stick in? Not really. Should we just do heel men singles? Let's do Thomas Rich, Mike Moon, and Paul Perez. Nice. And we'll just stick Kazmaier over. Because I like Bill Kazmaier. Perfect. 69%, so it will not be penalised. Everything else looks fine. Let's run this straight away. Got WCW Power Hour opening. Kalua and Terry Taylor defeated Z-Man and the Samurai Warrior when Taylor submitted Warrior with a sharpshooter. Interview with Eaton, Ann and Ole Anderson. The Diamond Stud defeated Scott Armstrong with the Diamond Death Drop. Interview with Simmons on Steve Austin. Cactus defeated Big Josh in 708. What was a decent match. Video featuring the Steiners. And the main event, Kazmaier and the Rock and Roll Express defeated Thomas Rich, Mike Moore, and Paul Perez. When Kazmaier pinned Paul Perez. Something has opened beneath my TEW and I'm unsure as to what. What the heck is that? I'll find out though. WCW Saturday Night. Let me just... I'll keep it up for now. We don't need to run a booking team meeting. Oh, it's just about... this huge white screen popped up behind TEW where I normally keep Streamlabs so I can read the chat. And it's just telling me that Windows 10 is going to be phased out. I'm like, alright, that's fine. We don't need to do anything. I feel like there wasn't a locker room incident, but I also wasn't really paying attention. So we have Scotty Flamingo defeating Johnny Rich in the opening. So heel. Where's Scotty Flamingo? Is he down here? He is. He can beat face, men. Don't necessarily have anyone here right now, so we can beat Adam Flash. 3 minutes. Just do a quick Flamingo victory. Vinny Vegas defeated Chris Sullivan. I think instead of Vinny Vegas, let's do... Are they heels? So the Diamond Stud, Vinny Vegas, and DDP are at least all recognizable. So it doesn't necessarily matter which one I kind of build up. Vinny Vegas beats Chris Sullivan. We can stick them against Gino Caruso and Samurai Warrior, I guess. Again, a quick 3-minuter. Let's stick DDP over. Arn Anderson and Bobby Eaton defeat Terry Bronson and Joe Cruz. Which, Terry Bronson, great name. 2v2. Woohoo. I needed to check if some adoption papers for my cat were still at the vet. So what was it? Arn and Eaton. Heel team. Arn Anderson and Bobby Eaton can beat face, men's. Exclude already booked. No. They can beat Johnny Saint and Stinko Malenko. Again, I just think that'll be a good match. Stick Arn over. By the looks of it, nothing really happens this full show outside of the main event. And you know what? I will make that a title defense. WCW World Tag Team. Nice. And then Tom Zenk and Bagwell defeated Randy Starr and Buddy Lee Parker. Instead of Tom Zenk, we have Ivan and Bagwell. They can beat heel, males. Who do we have? No one necessarily here I want to lose. So instead, they can beat Paul Perez. Mike Moon? Mike Moore, sorry. I forgot, we got a new crop of jobbers. What the heck was that nice little one? Even I didn't know. Let's stick Ivan over because I think he kind of needs it. And then in the main event, Nikita defeats Larry Bagwell. Larry Bagwell. Shout out to Daniel356780 for the follow on Twitch 2 days ago. Yeah, Nikita defeats Larry Zbyszko in the best 2 out of 3 falls. So where's Nikita? There he is. He's beating... What is his match history? Because I feel like he hasn't. I need to try and build him back up. In WCW. Just 6 straight losses. Alright. Alright, we need to get that up. I guess I didn't realise how much of a prominent role he'd be. So Nikita against Larry. 20 minutes. Let's make it. Nikita wins. It's a storytelling match. So if we check the third one. So Zbyszko gets a near fall after a backbreaker. Koloff counters a pile driver with a backbreaker and locks in a sleeper hold. Larry quickly gets out of the hold but is knocked down by an elbow strike. Dangerously trips Koloff from the floor. But Koloff nails Zbyszko with a clothesline and wins the match. General consensus is it could do with 5 minutes being cut. Nice. I feel like this show isn't going to do well, but as long as it doesn't do awful, that's kind of all that matters. So we have a WCW Saturday, spell it right, Saturday night opening. I am so hungry. I think it's because for the first time in a while, Michael Drake, greetings, I hope you're doing well. It's just how hungry I am. I hope that FM at the end of Michael Drake stands for Football Manager. A game that I love, but am absolutely awful at. So Paulie opens the show and says that the Dangerous Alliance doesn't have any kind of infighting, and that Zbyszko will take care of Koloff tonight in 2 straight falls. Paulie says Dangerous Alliance don't have any kind of infighting. Unlike, what is it called, Sting's Army? So let's have Paulie cutting a promo. I don't think he's with the Dangerous Alliance, he just says, I've been getting more into wrestling sims. And I'm like, oh, fair. Solid. There's a good wrestling sim on stream. What am I talking about? Sorry, I'm tired. I am having a coffee while doing this, so in the hopes of getting some energy back. A good wrestling sim on Steam called... You know, I honestly can't remember. That's embarrassing. The whole point in this is me saying I still feel like TEW is the superior of all of them. I think there absolutely can be there's a place for, like, it can be took over with someone putting in some effort, but I just feel like TEW already has such an established modding scene. What is the name of that wrestling sim on Steam? Anyway, sorry, I'm rambling, you didn't ask my opinion on them. Is it Pro Wrestling Promoter? Pro Wrestling Sim, yeah, maybe that is the one. Yeah, that looks like it's the one. I haven't actually played any of the others outside of this, outside of TEW, so maybe I'm lying. But it's good to hear you've been getting more into wrestling booking sims. It's my guilty pleasure. Like, I remember the first, like, video I put up, someone commented being like, this seems monotonous. And I'm like, but I love the monotony. I enjoy all these little bits. Dusty Rhodes is the special co-host with Jim Ross this week. Dusty says, WCW is magic and they're getting funky like a monkey tonight. Don't necessarily need to include that. Sting is being interviewed this week. Sting comes out without the belt. Ross asks how it feels to be champion again, and Sting simply lets out a woo as how he's feeling. Dusty hypes up Big Van Vader, and how will Sting attack Vader? Sting doesn't know how to go about going after Vader. We'll figure it out. He has a lot of respect for Vader. Sting will rub Vader's face in the mat and will do it for Rhodes, out of respect. Sting will defend the championship against everyone, and he hopes to defend the gold in Japan. Nice. I'm busy posting an Omega. That's pretty cool. If there's like a, instead of sending it in the chat, if there's like a DM system one can do on Twitch, please DM me a link to that. Because that'd be cool. I'd like to read that. Is it the same Omega Championship that was run by the Hardys? In what area are you doing it? I'm curious, because that does sound quite enjoyable. Yeah, there you go. So let's have Sting cutting a promo. We have Dusty Rhodes as the interviewer. Same with good old JR. With Big Van Vader off screen. Not to be confused with Big Josh. Run it in 93 instead of 97. That is interesting. Why specifically 93? So at the end of the show, Paulie is yelling at Zbyszko for losing the match. Dangerously and Zbyszko leave when they see Missy Hyatt and continue to discuss what happened. Let's just do Larry, Paulie, and Nikita off screen. And I'll just kind of fill in some angles myself. So we can have a WCW Wrestle War ad. I never know if Wrestle War is one word or two, so we'll just interchange it. Because I'm not a fan of modern pro wrestling and a lot of problems can be corrected by going back. Fair. I understand that. I am also not necessarily huge on modern wrestling. I have thought about doing or running a AEW save on stream, but I don't know, man. If I was running AEW, I would also want to run Ring of Honor in a similar way that if I booked WWE, I'd want to book NXT. It just seems like bare work, and I'm not sure how far back I'd want to go, so at least at this point I'm kind of like 1992, perfect point. I'd like to go back to 85, but at the moment 92, I'm happy. Happy being like as far back as I can and just like going through the years of wrestling. What else can we add? Ivan, Nikita, and Bagwell talk about the Dangerous Alliance. What do you want, little one? Why are you crying? Huh? Do you just want attention and you gotta run away as soon as that? Oh, see you. Yeah? No idea what? My little cat begs for attention. Will run away when I come see it, and then follow me back in to record. On screen, same difference. Same difference. I am also going to eat a bourbon biscuit as quietly as possible, because there's nothing I hate more than someone eating in a video or on stream, but I'm not eating for another couple of hours and I made a terrible choice for not eating before starting this. Let's do Larry Zbyszko, Steve Austin, and then we can just kind of do Rick Rude. Nice. Stick that here. Here. And then are we at a suitable match angle? Kind of, we are. The fans are expecting a show of 65% matches. I'm currently at 17, so I would not be penalised. What's wrong? Need to book 15 more minutes, Jesus. Let's have Al, De Beers, and Kahlua taking on faces. Let's just do some general jobber faces. Todd. Who else is that? Who else is in it, sorry? Right, let's do Jimmy Valiant, Big Josh, and Scott Armstrong. And 10 minutes is fine. Let's stick King Kahlua over. Perfect. Stick that here. Angle. So Madrill, De Beers, and Kahlua all out anyone from the back to take back the right to the NWA. Dory and the Steiners confront them. That's good enough for me. So we have Al Madrill putting a promo, Colonel De Beers and King Kahlua, and coming out is Dory, Rick Steiner, and Scott Steiner. Nice, that's fine with me. I think it's Tatsumi Fujinami wins the next, or is it Masahiro Chono? Championship. Hiro Chono. So he won a tournament in '92, winning the championship in the Progress. But when? So September '92, he defended it. August '92, I believe he wins. That's fine. We can keep it on the belt till August. About the NWA World Tag Team Championships. It says it started in July with Miracle Violence Connection winning it at the Great American Bash. But then that becomes the WCW title. And current champions. I don't know. Surely the NWA Tag Team title was running before 1992. The NWA did not officially recognise any tag team champions until 1992. Fair enough. And instead of the Steiners, so Rick Steiner, just remove, same as Scott Steiner. Instead, we can have Terry Gordy and Steve Williams. Nice little debut for them. Add Terry Gordy and let's add Steve Williams. G1 1982. Yeah, held in August. That's when Masahiro Chono wins the title. Is he under an exclusive written? He is. That's fine. That's fine, that's fine. Stick that there. Move that here then. That's fine. 65%. We're at 71, so we'll not be penalised. All is good, I believe. So we got a WCW Saturday night opening. Scotty Flamingo defeated Adam Flash in 2:46 with a pile driver. Paulie says that the Dangerous Alliance don't have any kind of infighting, and that Zbyszko will take care of Nikita tonight in 2 straight falls. An extremely short match, the Diamond Mine defeated Gino and Samurai Warrior, when DDP pinned Gino with the Diamond Cutter. Ross asks how it feels to be the champion again, and Sting simply lets out a woo. Sting says he'll rub Vader's face in the mat, and will do it for Rhodes, pay his respect. Sting will defend the championship against anybody, and he hopes to defend the gold in Japan. In a decent match, Arn and Bobby defeated Johnny Saint and Dean Malenko, when Arn pinned Dean with a spinning spine buster, to make defense number 2 of the World Tag Team titles. Ivan, Nikita and Bagwell talk about the Dangerous Alliance before the main event tonight. And then, in a bout which didn't have much heat, Ivan and Bagwell defeated Paul Perez and Mike Moore, when Ivan pinned Paul with a Russian sickle. We got a Wrestle War ad. Big Josh got a herniated spinal disc. Oh boy. Decent reaction from the crowd, but subpar wrestling. Madrill, DeBeers and King Kalua defeated Big Josh, Jimmy Valiant and Scott Armstrong, when Kalua pinned Valiant with a power slam. Madrill, DeBeers and Kalua call out anyone from the back to take back the rights of the NWA. Dory and the Miracle Violence Connection confront them. And then in our main event, in about which had good heat and decent wrestling, Nikita defeated Larry in a 2 out of 3 falls in 1931 by 2 straight falls, with the final pinfall happening by a Russian sickle. Paulie is yelling at Zbyszko for losing the match. Dangerously and Zbyszko leave when they see Missy Hyatt and continue to discuss what happened. Again, not our best year, lost his popularity. It's out for a year. When does Doink debut? Doink the Clown. After making appearances in late '92, looks like someone else will be playing Doink the Clown. Doink played cruel jokes on both fans and wrestlers to amuse himself. I think we can just use Skinner as Doink because he did play him. Financial report, made 99k though. Did straight lose some pop, which is never fun. Now we have Superstars of Wrestling. This is the first show that is just Superstars instead of Superstars of Wrestling, due to a lawsuit won by promoter Albert Patterson, who claimed the rights of the name. I guess we're gonna have to edit that when we can. No one gets the night off. We can be in, we're on Saturday. I guess we're in the Northwest. Booking team meeting, we don't need one. Oh, Gerald Briscoe and Gorilla have had some very positive interactions during the meeting. Skinner ran some drills for Jerry Gray. Victor has got a lot of heat with the locker room due to his recent attitude. Fritz has also gotten some heat. Fritz is happy. Savage got into an argument with Owen backstage. Louis Spicoli and Dale Wolf have been getting on well. Animal and JJ Dillon got into an argument. Marty and Mike Marcello got into an argument. Jesus. Is that the opposite of the WCW locker room? So our hosts tonight are Vince McMahon and Mr. Perfect. a WF Superstars opening. 3 minutes. Let's do hype, pre-taped video. Oh, Brett the Hitman Hart's image star. Randy Savage. I guess with Jake the Snake gone. Perfect. That's nice. He's up to a major star considering he's lost a couple of tag matches lately. So we have the Legion of Doom against Dwayne Gill and Barry Hardy. I imagine the same Dwayne Gill that becomes Gilbert. During the match, we hear from the Beverly Brothers and the Genius, who call Elodie and Ellering sissies. It's definitely not something I would do to the Legion of Doom. They can take on heel men, Bill Tab, and Mike Anthony. I got Mike Anthony who was annoyed because he's a hard drug user. 3 minutes is fine. Stick Animal over. We'll stick in that little insert promo. Beverly Brothers and the Genius call LOD and Ellering sissies. So Bo Beverly, Blake, Genius, cutting a promo on Animal. Let's do character development since he's wrestling. And Hawk. And Paul Ellering, I guess. Perfect. So we then get the WF update with Gene Oakland. We hear about the new issue of WF magazine that contains the photos Savage had with Liz, and they are the same with the ones with Flair. We now officially know that Flair doctored the photos. After that, the end of the Flair Savage match at WrestleMania 8 is shown, and Oakland then tells Flair he would not want to be in his boots after he did what he did to Liz. Bloody hell. Bloody hell. So we have Gene, Randy Savage, Miss Elizabeth, and Ric Flair. 4 minutes should be fine. We can always extend it if we need to. Then we have Repo Man against Chris Hahn. Instead, let's have... You know what? Let's stick... Can you see what Mike Anthony wrestler? There's a lot of other people called Mike Anthony. Mike Anthony, UWA wrestler. Oh, that looks like a photo of him. Oh, so he's known as Tiga Canadiense. I assume this when he was in UWA. To be fair, he looks class. Alright, yeah, instead of Repo getting a win, let's instead... Bret Hart's not wrestling, is he? He does, he wins squash next. Let's have them team together. Or is he a heel? He is a heel. Alright, who can we stick him with? Heel, male. Shawn Michaels against faces. Let's do Keith and Ross Hart. Oh, I forgot Shawn's injured. Bloody hell. Let's do heel, Flair. Is this, I can't remember, is this the A show? Book, that's fine. Superstars Wrestling is the A show, so it could be worth just having Flair on midway through. Let's stick Mike Anthony over. See another vignette of a prison cell with the man narrating, once again calling out Big Boss Man as he promises to get revenge when he is released. Vignette of a prison cell calling out Big Boss Man. So we can just have Nails putting a promo on Big Boss Man. And then have Bret Hart beating Tom Bennett. Sean and Sherry showing an insert promo running down Bret. So Bret taking on heel men. And stick him against the Mountie. So with it being our A show, I kind of want to get slightly better ratings. Sean and Sherry in an insert promo running down Bret Hart. Yeah, that's fine as it is. We know what we mean. Shawn Michaels cutting a promo with that sensational Sherry on Bret. 2 minutes should do. We then see a vignette for Crush. The same Crush that was part of Demolition. Crush tells us he got his name because he liked to crush things. Should we see? I just don't know how much I care for Crush. Like, Kona Crush was always Shaka Brown. Is there anyone else we can replace him with? I'm just not gonna push Crush. Alright, let's see. Who do we have this kind of face? Someone that would kind of face male, it seems. Oh yeah, face, yeah. Just dumb. Do we have anyone? Don't necessarily need to push Marty or Tito. I kind of like the idea of doing Kenny Kendall. Kenny Kendall wrestler. I think Kenny Kendall has a good look, and yeah, fuck it, why not? Kenny Kendall. Kenny Kendall tells us he got his nickname Crush with a K, because it's Kenny Kendall. Because he likes to crush things and then see some video of him crushing a Tyler the Kid. He then ties for being 6'7" and 320. Why are you crying? What do you want to do? Yeah? What do you want? She desperately wants to play, but then won't let me anywhere near her. Yeah, I'm happy with Kenny Kendall. Yeah. Three minutes. I guess character development. Then have the Berserker against Mark Roberts. Hear from Fuji, an insert promo as he issues a challenge to Undertaker and Bearer as they promise to get a Viking funeral. That's fine. Snakebite if we add in the Berserker. We could probably remove him from What a Rush. Let's remove the Berserker and Mr. Fuji. Snakebite. I'm happy with that as a feud. Major and Mr. Fuji. So let's have the Berserker just beat someone up. Perfect. Berserker win. So, Fuji issues a challenge to taking Barbera and promises they will get a Viking funeral. So, Mr. Fuji putting a promo with the Berserker on the Undertaker and Barbera. We then get an ad for the WWF fan club. Auckland is on the interview platform with several kids who were all wearing Ultimate Warrior face paint. The Warrior himself comes out, and as the kids surround him, as Undertaker talks about as Auckland talks about his return and the electric atmosphere that followed. Warrior talks about being Hulk Hogan's friend, and then Auckland calls Warrior a threat to Sid because Sid grabbed a chair to attack him. Warrior says Sid will soon realise he will need friends, and anyone who goes against the Warrior will pay a high price. Warrior picks up a kid in each arm and says he will stand proud while carrying the banner of WWF. So they're basically just kind of replacing Hogan with Warrior. So let's have the Ultimate Warrior cutting a promo with Gene as the interviewer, Hulk off screen, and Sid just as off screen. 5 minutes. Let's just make it an interview. Rick Martel gets a quick win in 140. Perfect. And then Vince plugs the Coliseum home video release of WrestleMania 8, including extra footage of Nasty's Mount Eaton Sherry singing, the WrestleFest arcade contest, and a WWF Superstar lookalike competition. Texas Tornado gets a win. He starts cutting promos again, and it seems like he is looks a bit more sober than he has been. Let's have him beat Repo. Alright, I'm gonna feed my cat because all she's doing is crying. Come on. This is what you want. You've never been more vocal, have you? You happy with some lamb? No? But you don't need a single thing of it to go back to crying. Wait up all out. Yeah, just... He sniffed it and walked away. That's exactly what we need. Now she's looking at me. Let's stick Kerry Von Erich over, nice and quick. We can put that there. Go WBF Body Stars ad. Then the main event, Money Inc. Get a quick win over Jim Powers and Buck Zumhoff. And finally, we hear from The Undertaker and Paul Bearer as they accept the challenge from Berserker and Fuji. That's fine. Can we have... What was the last main event of Superstars? Blair and Sid defeated Slaughter and Jim. That's fair. What if we do heels? Ted and IRS. With Sid again, I guess he's the biggest star, against faces, Slaughter, Slaughter, Jim, and Snooker. That should at least be fine. Now, 15 minutes. We can stick Sid over. Make it storytelling. And at ringside, let's stick out the Ultimate Warrior. Perfect. Who is it? Oh, Jimmy Snooker. Stick JJ Dillon in charge. So the Undertaker and Paul Bearer accept the challenge from Berserker and Fuji, as they promise Berserker will pay a price. And then Fuji responds, that means we can at least do it twice. So Undertaker and Bearer accept the challenge from Berserker's Fuji. Fine. Let's have the Undertaker cutting a promo with Paul Bearer on Mr. Fuji. And the Berserker. 3 minutes. Perfect. Stick that here. And finally, Fuji tells Undertaker he's fell for their trap. As Berserker says, whatever does not kill him makes him stronger. Undertaker, he's fell for their trap. As Berserker says, whatever does not kill him makes him stronger. Please fit. Right. He fell for trap. He fell for trap. Makes him stronger. Mr. Fuji cutting a promo with the Berserker on the Undertaker off screen and Paul Bearer. And that alone can end the show. Book and analysis, what's the crack? Sid Justice is fatigued. Yeah, it's fine. 65, so not be penalised. What is some of our creative ideas? Coco Beware has a character one. He is now out. Check absences. Oh, no, he isn't. For some reason, I thought Coco was like brutally injured. I know Butch is. Sean's out for another 36 days. Kato's also just out for the next year. Who's Koniki? Ah, that's fair. There's Yokozuna. We can hire him, to be fair. Negotiate. Everyone's happy. Exclusive written 3 years. Yeah, you can have 6k. You are going to get a monster push. It's an awful photo of him. Kinda looks badass, but it's the wandering eye. Alright, let's run Superstars. We've got a WWF Superstars opening. Legion of Doom defeated Bill Tab and Jean Grey. Oh, Cherry Grey. I've been watching too much X-Men. When Animal pinned Tab with a Doomsday device. The Beverly Brothers and the Genius call LOD and Ellering sissies. We then got the WWF update with Gene Oakland. We hear about the new issue in WWF magazine that contains the photos Savage had with Liz, and they are the same as the ones that Flair had, as we now officially know that Flair in fact doctored in the photos. Oakland tells Flair he would not want to be in his boots after what he's done to Liz. Mike Anthony and Ric Flair defeat the Hart Foundation when Anthony, pinned Ross Hart. A vignette of a prison cell with a man narrating once again, calling out Bossman as he promises to get revenge when he's released. In a bout which had great wrestling and decent reaction from the crowd, Brett defeated the Mountie in 10:28 with a sharpshooter. Sean and Sherry are in an insert promo, running down Brett. Kenny Kendall tells us he got the nickname Crush because he liked to crush things. We then see some black and white footage of him crushing a toy as a kid. Talks about being 6'7" and 320 pounds. An extremely short match, the Berserker defeated Virgil in 2:59 with a camel clutch. Fuji issues a challenge to The Undertaker and Paul Bearer and promises they will get a Viking funeral. Rick Martel defeats Duggan in 2:04 by submission with a Boston Crab. Warrior talks about being Hulk Hogan's friend. Then, Auckland calls Warrior a threat to Sid because Sid grabbed a chair to attack him. Warrior says Sid will soon realise he will need friends, and anyone who goes against his warriors will pay a higher price. Kerry defeated Repo with a tornado punch. Then the Undertaker and Paul Bearer accept the challenge from Berserker and Fuji, as they promise Berserker will pay a price. In the main event, Sid Justice and Money Inc. defeated Slaughter, Hillbilly and Snooker, when Sid pinned Snooker with a chokeslam. Fuji tells Undertaker he fell for their trap, as Berserker says whatever doesn't kill him makes him stronger. Nice. I actually expect after that last angle for the show to bomb, so I'll definitely take that. Superstars over. I think we'll be doing a main event and primetime wrestling. Maybe another show. Maybe another show. We have Kenny Kendall against the Diamond Stud. Pretty boy Kenny Kendall. It's a great gimmick. It's a great gimmick. I really need to know what my cat is scratching, screaming about. She's been fed. She's in a zoomy phase. She does this every time. I don't need this. I do not need this. Alright, back to WCW. Pegasus Kid shows up wasted to New Japan. Oh gosh. Don't say that. Don't say that. Big Josh is out for about a year. And Ole Anderson doesn't like Bill Catsmeyer. With Big Josh out for a year, should we look at bringing in someone on as a jobber? Should we bring in Sam Houston? Oh, I forgot Grizzly Smith wouldn't like it. Buddy Landell? What is Buddy Landell up to? I like Buddy Landell. I have nothing against Buddy Landell. I've seen some good Landell matches. So the NWA from 81 to 86. He really does nothing until 95 when he comes into the WWF. Yeah, let's bring him in. Handshake, Pair Show, No Ironclad. 2 years. No, that's literally a thing that says he's too drunk to work, but we'll survive. So where's absences? Big Josh, medium risk, out for a year. Let's just wait on it. So main event, what are we looking at? 5, 10, 92, 4, 26. No, the one before that, methinks. $4.19. Yeah, that's what it looks like. So we now events and TV. Let's modify Superstars of Wrestling just to WWF Superstars. Nice. Oh, God, I already don't need this. Ultimate Warrior, steroid user, stern warning. It's fine. Hard drug user, fine. Positive, nice. Kerry, hard drug user, fine. Hawk, steroid user, stern warning. UWA. Since when can UWA offer? I suppose they're medium. When did they rise to medium? Have they always been medium? Search. I guess story type company news. No. No is the answer. Negotiate, make offer. Excuse me, sorry about that, some person. I accept these terms and we want the two offers. No, I want you to 4 years. Yeah, there we go. How much were they offering? 8,800 for 3 years, that's fair. Alright, let's continue. We have a wrestling challenge up next, which is our just auto-booked show, so that's not the end of the world. So for main event, we at Sunday, so I think we're still in the tri-state. Locker room incidents. George South brought drinks. Michael Hayes was a bit fun. And Anson ran some drills. Stephen Regal has an idea. Nice. Let's see. So Rick Rude and Vader defeated Firebreaker Chip and Todd Champion when Rude pinned Chip after hitting a Rude Awakening after a splash from Vader. That's a class match, to be fair. So Rick Rude and Big Van Vader could take on faces. It doesn't necessarily matter to take on. WCW Patriots. 10 minutes is fine. Let's stick Vader over. Job's a good one. Rick and Scott Steiner with Arnold. Who's Arnold? Arnold Steiner wrestler. So if I check Steiner Brothers wiki, Arnold. Who? Oh, didn't mean to do that one. The audio looks a bit loud. How's that? What if I just stick this on? Yeah, that's fine. So, Steiner Brothers, Arnold. Oh, it's Arnold the dog. Do they come up with a dog now? Arnold the dog. Scott Steiner's pit bull. That makes more sense, right? That's fine. This is from the game Resident Evil Dead Aim, just in case anyone's wondering. Yeah, that's fine. We can stick the Steiners over. Well, they go over Sonny Trout and John Peterson, but we can stick them over heel males, Mike Moore and Mr. Hughes. Uh, 5 minutes should do. Rick can go over in this case. Not too much more happens. So we need the WCW main event opening. 4 minutes. Let's do a hype pre-taped video. Oh, Harley Race is made up to Major Star. That's one I've noticed. Perfect. Rick and Scott Steiner talk about trying to become #1 contenders to the IWG Tag Team titles at Wrestle War. Nice, that's fine with me. Yeah, that fits. So Rick Steiner cutting a promo, same with Scott Steiner. I guess Wrestle War is one word. Perfect. Sting talks about leading his team into War Games. So Sting talks about leading his team into War Games. We can just have Sting cutting a promo on Vader. Nice. So it featured Arn and Eaton against Simmons and Big Josh. Austin and Zbyszko against Terry Bronson and Johnny Rice. And also a Cactus Jack match. So WCW Wrestle War ad. 4 minutes to make it a hype pre-taped video. Start. I think I'd also like to add, if we go to recognizable. Oh, Pillman's made his way up to well known. Nice. I would also like Cactus Jack too, so I'll stick him in this. And Dory Funk. Stick him off screen. Everyone else. Bobby Eaton as well, maybe. Character development. In the hopes that maybe they'll get up to at least recognizable. So you have 18 more minutes. Now it's 13, so we can just stick in a fun little 3v3. Let's have heels. Let's do Garvin, Jack, and Murdoch against faces. We can do Adam Flash, Gino, and PN News. So 13 minutes is fine. Let's stick Cactus Jack over. Job is a good one. 67, so would not be penalised. Got the main event opening with a sweet 76. Ron Garvin and the Hardcore Outlaws defeated Adam Flash, Gino Caruso, and PN News when Jack submitted Caruso. Got a Wrestle War ad. The Steiners defeated Mike Moore and Mr. Hughes. Oh, for a second I thought that team, but Mike Moore's getting better at his gimmick. When Steiner pinned Moore with a Steinalizer. The Steiners cut a promo on trying to become #1 contenders for the IWGP Tag Team titles at Wrestle War. And then in the main event, in a decent match, Rude and Vader defeated the WCW Patriots when Vader pinned Chip with the Vader Bomb. Sting talked about leading his team into War Games. Nice little 70, made 9k, nothing to shake a stick at. No one gets the night off. We are in, I think, the Northwest. Yeah. Locker room incidents. Earthquake and Brawler were getting on. Skinner ran some pre-show drills. Big Boss Man has a creative finish. Nails was brought before Wrestler's Card. Nice. The backstage rating must be poor or worse. Yes, let's do some team bonding. It only created tensions. Nice. It's the way I can check backstage. Yes. Alright, it's rated poor. It's rated poor. Just so many negative influences. And everyone failing stuff. Is there a way like locker room rules are having a positive effect? Yeah, actually, yeah. Great. It's fine. We can wrestling challenge. That's our auto booked show, isn't it? I believe so. Yes, it is. Auto booker. Let's book the whole show. So let's stick all of these in. Nice. Let's cut all these out. So we have a WWF wrestling challenge opening. A hype pre-taped video. We can keep IRS cut the promo. I'm always going to click Hulk Hogan there now. To be fair, in 92, maybe the backstage was awful in the WWF. Duggan against Tanaka. Let's have Duggan lose to... Let's have him lose to Papa Shango. 8 minutes is fine. Shango goes over. Interview with Animal and Hawk on the Beverleys. Animal, Hawk, putting a promo on Blake and Bo. Well, the Genius, I guess. Nice. The Warlord against Nikita. Instead, let's have heel the Berserker taking Nikita on. Just because we need the Berserker to get a little bit of momentum going into his Taker feud. Interview with Big Boss Man on the Mystery Prisoner. Stick nails off screen. Virgil against Repo. Instead, let's stick Kerry against Repo. With Kerry once again going over. This might be... I was going to say, this is one of our most done matches, but I just guess it isn't. Interview with Sean on Brett. The IC title. Let's stick Brett on screen. Barbarian against Snooker. Let's have heel, male. Who do we have? Faces. Let's have Bulldog take on... In fact, let's have Rick Martel against Snooker. Stick Martel over. He could do with being further back up again. Interview with Lex on the WWF. Nice. 61%, so not be penalised. Got a WWF Wrestling Challenge opening. Papa Shango defeated Duggan in 7:45 with a Voodoo Driver. Interview with Animal and Hawk on the Beverleys. The Berserker defeated Volkov in 6:31 with a Camel Clutch. Got an interview with Bossman on the Mystery Prisoner. Kerry defeated Repo with a Tornado Punch. Got an interview with Shawn Michaels on Brett and the IC title. Rick Martel defeated Snooker in 6:51 with a Boston Crab. And an interview with Lex on the WWF. Simple, easy show. Made 2K. Solid show. I'm happy with that. Kawada's having some All Japan issues, isn't he always? Everything else kind of looks more or less the same. Main event viewing figures, probably fine. How's our prestige looking these days? Low. That's fair. Rival bid on Yoko has been seriously considered. What if I offered you 25,000 a month? Yeah. Set this in concerned you. Yeah, nice. Instant Hawk, hard drug user, let's find him. He's very unhappy. Animal's very unhappy. Reaper's very unhappy. Paladin's very unhappy. Let's clear up some of these How much do we have? 21 million. How is our general finances looking? So we're making about $1 million each month, even on months where we're not making any pay-per-view revenue. And we've had a pay-per-view this month at least at WrestleMania. So if I give a bonus to entire roster of 10k, that is going to cost me $1 million. So if I now check backstage, very good morale. Nice. Far fewer. Nice. So if we go back to finances, yeah, we're still on 3 mil. That's fine. Now can I change, if I go to WCW, what's our backstage like? Excellent. Oh, yes, very good, very good. Lots of positive influences. Nice. Alright, happy with that. Prime time wrestling. Vince McMahon hosts this evening's panel with Monsoon, Hillbilly Jim, Bobby Heenan, and Mr. Perfect. Heenan says that Sid Justice is going to rip off the Ultimate Warrior's face paint and take revenge for the ending of WrestleMania 8. Ooh. Is today Monday? Yes. Northwest, we can change that to it is Monday as well. Northwest, we can change that to New England. Locker room incidents. Mike Sharp, yep, we can have you on a one night only deal if you'd like. Crush and the Warrior are now travel buddies. Jimmy Snooker has an idea. Owen tried to bring Dynamite in on some team building, but only annoyed him. Skinner ran some drills. Linda passed on tips to Shane. Bruce passed on tips to Owen. Okay, ish. So a relationship I can meddle in between Dynamite and the Mountie. I'm trying to influence, trying to make people friends again. So Heenan says Sid Justice is going to rip off the Ultimate Warrior's face paint and take revenge. So let's have Bobby Heenan cutting a promo on the Ultimate Warrior and perfect. Starting off with a sweet little angle. We also have WWF Prime Time Wrestling opening. 4 minutes. Let's make a hype pre-taped video. Not too much to worry about as this is only a B show. Perfect. Book. Nice. Nice. Unscripted for the Pipe Man. The Pipinator. Let's just swap these around. What's our first match? Sid defeats Chris Walker with a powerbomb at 2:57. Whippleman comes in to do the stethoscope and stretch routine. Sid later takes the stretcher halfway down the aisle before running it into the ring apron. That would be Sid's last televised WWF match for 3 years. It's madness how quickly things go from 0 to 100. Very quickly have Sid. How soon does Sid debut? May 1993. Oh, we got a month. We can keep him around. Sid can go over face Brian Costello. 1 minute with Sid going over. Sergeant Slaughter squash is shown. Gene Okerlund's update segment recaps how Ric Flair and his crew used I don't even know what that word says. Editing. to alter photographs and make it seem like Flair. It was with Liz. So Gene, Rick, Randy, and young Miss Elizabeth. Nice, nice. Monsoon thinks a proper punishment for Flair, Heenan, and Perfect is for them to eat the Doctor in photos. Jim adds that Heenan is a lying possum. Before Monsoon corrects him and says the term should be lying weasel. Berserker beats Jim Brunzell with a power slam in 8:44. Nice little Berserker win over face male Duggan. This is why we keep these people around for these pushes. Stick that here. The panel discusses how Mr. Fuji has challenged the Undertaker. Heenan hypes the Berserker as the only man who can look the Undertaker eye to eye and take him down. Monsoon thinks Fuji is taking too many shots at the kid. So let's have Gorilla, Vince McMahon, Bobby Heenan, and Mr. Perfect all cutting a promo on Mr. Fuji, the Berserker, and the Undertaker. We'll stick that here straight away. Coco Beware squashing superstars is shown. Shawn Michaels squashing wrestling challenge is shown. A replay of the Convict's recent vignette airs. We can just stick that in. Just males cutting a promo on Big Boss Man. Promo time, Sean Mooney. The Natural Disasters promise pain for Jimmy Hart's tag team and claims to have no weakness. So let's have Typhoon cutting a promo with Earthquake on Jimmy Hart, Ted DiBiase, and IRS. Texas Tornado squashing superstars is shown. Rick Martel defeats Bossman after hitting the Big Boss Man with the nightstick in the back of the head. It's the first time Big Boss Man has been defeated in 55 televised matches going back to 1991. Jesus. Heel, male, there's Rick Martel. He can go against face, men. I would stick Rick Martel against Slaughter, actually. Who did that? Nice. Heenan and Perfect complain about the smell of Jim's hat. McMahon argues that the panel is smelling arrogance. A replay of Oakland's interview with the Ultimate Warrior on Superstar airs. So Gene is the interviewer. The Ultimate Warrior putting a promo on Sid off screen. The Legion of Doom squash from Superstar Z. Heenan is on the phone with Lex Luger in an attempt to convince him to pause on the next episode of WWF Body Stars. Monsoon is angry over Luger's comments about him at WrestleMania, saying that Luger has yet to feel the wrath of the gorilla. So, Bobby Heenan. Let's have Gorilla. Let's have Vince in this one. And Lex. 4 minutes is fine. El Matador beats Repo Man when Repo tries to use his toe rope as a weapon. So let's have face. Tito taking on heel. Iron Mike Sharp. Tito. Nope, not a genius. Tito. No. Tito. Yes. 7 minutes is fine with Tito going over. We can stick that bear angle's going on. We can stick that here. The Undertaker squash from shown. Bret Hart squash is shown. The Mountie and Jimmy Hart talk about how it's time for the new generation of wrestlers like him to lead the WWF. He tells the audience that a surprise is coming. And the Bushwhackers cut a promo that no one cares about. The Mountie and Jimmy Hart tells the audience that a surprise is coming. So the Mountie cutting a promo. Jimmy Hart also just cutting a promo. It's fine with me. That's enough that I need to do. It can be improvised. Perfect wonders why IRS has been given a title shot on next week's program before Flair. Heenan claims that Savage is ducking Flair. Monsoon responds that Heenan and Perfect never put a rematch clause in their WrestleMania contract. Hehehe. Chris Walker getting squashed was a way to write him off and was also meant to elevate Sid, but the plan would take a wrong turn by the end of the week. Is this the new WWE? I was gonna say WWF game. Is this the new WWF game? I never liked the idea of like unlockables like that being in the game. Like I like the idea of one accruing like a custom currency and then being able to buy things. Like say on Shut Your Mouth. Let's just have a couple of matches in. Let's do Danko and Baryshnikov against heels, the Wits, and let's do Tanaka and Skinner. I still have no idea what I'm going to do with Salman Danko and Viktor Baryshnikov, but I'll figure something out. Yeah, Tanaka can be unhappy, I don't care enough. That here. Let's have Big Bully Busick take on face Virgil. I don't think I've played a WWE game in the past, God, I don't know, 6 years. This one did get good reviews and it made me genuinely think about it, but I don't know. I see GM mode and I'm kind of like, maybe, but then I've kind of got this, which, at least in my head, is slightly more in depth. Let's do 3v3 of teams. Let's have Wolf, Walker, and Heel. The Mountie taking on faces. Let's do Luke, Coco, and Brush with the Sea. How long? 11 more minutes, that's fine. We can stick the Mountie over. Stick that here. And we can have a Kenny Kendall win. Over Bill Tab. Nice, that can go here. 67%, so will not be penalised. Sid Justice is wrestling but fatigued. Tanaka's extremely unhappy. Yeah. Who cares? Who cares? Primetime Wrestling Open gets an 80. Happy with that. Berserker defeats Duggan in 14 with a power slam. The panel discuss how Fuji has challenged The Undertaker. And Heenan hypes the Berserker as the only man who can look Undertaker eye to eye. Tito defeats Mike Sharp with a figure 4. Heenan says Sid is going to rip the Ultimate Warrior's face paint and take revenge. Sid Justice defeats Brian Costello in 50 seconds with a powerbomb. Gene Oakland's update segment recaps how Flair and his crew used editing to alter photographs. Danko and Barishnikov defeated Skinner and Tanaka when Victor pinned Tanaka. A replay of the Convict's recent vignette airs. Big Bully Busick defeated Virgil in 5:18 with a stump puller. The Natural Disasters promise pain for Jimmy Hart's tag team and claim they have no weakness. Rick Martel defeated Slaughter in 10:26 with a Boston Crab. And a replay of Oakland's interview with Ultimate Warrior on Superstars airs. Kenny Kendall defeated Bill Tabb in 4:29. Heenan is on the phone with Luger in an attempt to convince him to pose on the next episode of WBF Superstars. Then in a main event, the Mountie and Wolf and Walker defeat Luke, Coco and Crush when the Mountie submitted Coco with a Quebec Crab. The Mountie and Jimmy Hart talk about how it is time for a new generation of wrestlers to lead the WWF. He tells the audience that a surprise is coming. Truth be told, it will also be a surprise for me because I have no idea what it is. Let's go on Primetime Wrestling, a few extremists that fair. New feud for Dave Taylor, Marcus Butchall and Willy Wilhelm. Our show was held and it went quite well. WWF. Ah yes. We got him. We got Yoko. Yes. Drug testing cost 10 grand. Thankfully no one's doing hard drugs. At the moment at least. I'll probably go for another about, I don't know, maybe half an hour? Get a couple more shows in. Then I'll probably play some Minecraft. And make my tea, or at least prep tea. Shoot Elgar. Should we find out what the Mountie surprise is? The Mountie, WWF, Jacques Rougeau. Is it because he's bringing in his brother? He was on the losing end of an 8-man tag at WrestleMania and a 6-man tag at SummerSlam. In October '92, he leaves the WWF and then returns in July, teaming with Pierre Ouellette as the Quebecers, also known as PCO. PCO. Madness that he's out of TNA now. I was happy seeing his kind of little... I'm happy to see him regularly get shows. Oh yes, Buddy Landell. We can bring him in as a face, just to replace Big Josh. And maybe actually do a little better. 66 people turning up to see Marty Jones and Tony Sinclair beat Dave Taylor and Giant Haystacks. That match would be good if not for Giant Haystacks. Oh, I don't even know what show we have next. WCW, what we saying? Ken Shamrock training for a fight. Jim Cornette was been voted best manager. Chief J Tip. Yeah, let's just keep him. Still probably trying to speak. And Shamrock, scheduled to return in 4 months. That's fine. We don't really have too much use for him at the moment. Oh, do you remember the wrestler under the name Hannibal got in a referee stabbing incident? That was madness. Not too much going on. Loads of people bonding in the rings locker room. And Victor's having nothing but arguments. WCW Power Hour. WWF. Andre the Giant now lives in Japan. Didn't we want to give him a new contract? Oh, he is. Oh, are we just waiting for him to generally start? That's fine. So we have WCW Power Hour. We were in the Tri-State last. But I guess we could go all the way right back up to the Great Lakes. Locker room incident. Ripper Manson wants to hang out. Yeah, it's fine. Arn Anderson and Art Barr got into an argument. Arn ran some drills. Some heat between Ole. Sting has won support over Dustin. Jimmy Garvin's been passing on tips to Van Hammer. Lionheart pulled a fun rib. Perfect. So Power Hour. Just our little auto booked silly little show. Art Barr against Dory Funk is a madness. So instead of WCW Power Hour opening, 3 minutes is fine with me. Perfect. Terry Taylor and the Young Pistols against Z-Man, Richard Martin, and Tommy Rich. Instead, let's have Ricky Martin still somehow a heel. He's a face. Oh, it's because he's in a team with Tommy Rich. And Tommy Rich is a face. Ah, I'm just dumb. Instead of Ricky Martin, let's do Adam Flash against Terry Taylor, Tracy Smothers, and we need a heel, Ron Garvin. And let's stick Terry Taylor over. Interview with Larry Zbyszko on who's he feuding with? Barry Windham. So Barry Windham off screen. Nice. I'm happy with Buddy Landell and Van Hammer against Rip Rogers and Bob Cook. Let's stick Landell over. Where is Landell? Nice, he's already recognisable. That saves a lot of time. Didn't feature Missy Hyatt and the NWA champions. So Al, subject to video, Colonel De Beers and King Kalua. Still need to cut 4 minutes, that's fine. Bill Kazmaier against George South. We can stick Kazmaier over. Interview with Brian Pillman on Jushin Liger. Stick Jushin off screen. Art Barr against Dory Funk. Instead, let's have a huge 5v5 of heels. We have Art Barr, Eddie Guerrero, Booker T, Lionheart, and Stevie Ray against faces. Exclude already booked. Todd, Tim, Chip, Gigante, and the Italian Stallion. Last one time is 5 minutes. Let's stick Lionheart over. Then we have video featuring Rick and Scott Steiner. Rick Steiner, subject to video, obviously. Perfect. And then the diamond stud against Joey Maggs. The stud is going over. Do we still power hour opening? Went well. Taylor, Gavin, and Smothers defeated Z-Man, Adam Flash, and Rich when Terry Taylor pinned Adam Flash with a flying forearm smash. Zabisco cut a promo on Wyndham. Buddy Landell and Van Hammer defeated Bob Cook and Rip Rogers when Landell submitted Cook with the figure 4 leg lock. Got a video featuring Missy Hyatt and the NWA champions. Kazmaier defeated George South in 344 by pinfall. Interview with Pillman on Liger. Art Bar, Eddie, Booker T, Lionheart, and Stevie Ray defeated champion Bossman Chip Gigante and Stallion when Lionheart submitted the Italian Stallion with a Lion Tamer. Got a video of the Steiners, and then the Diamond Stud defeated Joey Maggs in 843 with a Diamond Death Drop. Ooh, we have Saturday night. WCW Saturday night, 25 April 1992. 425, yes. Perfect. Booking team meeting. Nothing needs to come of it. No incidents. We don't need to address the locker room. So Scotty Flamingo beats Firebreaker Chip. Where's heel, male, Scotty Flamingo can beat. Have we done Adam Flash? We did it on the last show. Now he can beat face, males, Gigante. 4 minute with Flamingo going over. Ann Anderson gets a squash over Larry Santo. God, they're going 2 out of 3 falls crazy on Saturday night. Ann can beat face, men, Adam Flash, Mr. X. 5 minutes. Anderson going over. Then Steve Austin fought Wyndham to a draw in a best 2 out of 3 falls. Steve Austin against Barry Wyndham. Oh, he is injured. Face, male, Steamboat to a 20-minute draw. Austin, no, draw, storytelling. Please be happy? Yes. Koloff is the superstar to take the hot seat and be interviewed by Jim Ross and co-host Bill Fralick of the Atlanta Falcons. Fralick wants to know why Koloff is back in WCW. Koloff is here to respond to that question. See footage from last year when Koloff decked Luger and the WCW United States Champion. Or with the United States Championship, sorry. Nikita knew he was right about how Luger only cared about himself and not the fans. Koloff attacked Sting at Super Brawl 1, and his mindset to get after Luger. Koloff has a lot of respect for Sting for standing up for himself. Nikita disappeared from WCW because of his homeland, which was fighting for freedom, so he had to help. The second reason was because of what happened in Knoxville, Tennessee. Koloff ran Sting over with a double clothesline in front of a young fan, and he scared a child that Sting had been holding moments earlier. Nikita has talked to that young child and they've become best friends. Jim Ross asked why Koloff was at Super Brawl 2 months ago. Koloff says he was there because he wanted to talk to Sting, but he couldn't because of the dangerous alliance. Nikita looks at the camera and says he's sorry for what Vader has done to Sting. Koloff says he's on a phone call away and will be there when Sting needs him. Koloff brings out a young fan on stage as he's going for a full-fledged babyface role. That's a whole interview. So Koloff says he's very sorry of what Vader has done to Sting. Says he's only a phone call away. Nice. So Jim Ross is the interviewer. Nikita cutting a promo on Sting. Big Van Vader, Paul E, and Recruit, I guess. Nice. We also need a WCW Saturday Night opening. WCW Saturday Night opening. About 3 minutes. Just stick everyone major in it to get a nice little bit of pop. Perfect. And then Wyndham takes Austin over several times with the headlock. Wyndham takes Austin over with snap suplex and gets a 3. Austin connects with a vertical suplex but misses on an elbow drop. They collide in the middle of the ring. 45 seconds left of TV time. Wyndham hits a clothesline but Austin gets his foot on the bottom rope. Wyndham hits a vertical suplex but time runs out. Since neither man won 2 falls, the belt remains with Austin. Just not too much going on. So WCW Wrestle War advert. These Saturday nights are like so much shorter than any other like WCW show. If anyone hasn't, subscribe to the WCW YouTube channel. That's up. Because they put bare stuff on. Nice, stick that there. Sting talks about what it'll take to keep Vader down. So Sting cutting a promo. Tony Schiavone is the interviewer on Big Van. Yeah, go there. Vader and Harley Race talk about their combined championships. So we have Harley Race cutting a promo with Big Van Vader. It's not available for him, it's fine. Off screen on Sting. Nice. So 32 more minutes. We can fit in a solid match of, let's have Dustin and Wyndham against heels. We can do Steve Armstrong and Buddy Lee Parker. Yeah, it's just a quick little match. Wyndham will be fine. Perfect. We can do a 3v3 of Dory, Steve Williams, and Terry Gordy against heels. Let's do Jean Lee Jean, Pat Rose, and Rip Rogers. Stick Dory Funk over, he could do with the win. Dory says he's ready to be NWA champion one more time. Yeah, that's fine. So Dory cutting a promo with Steve Williams. and Terry Gordy. On Al, King and Colonel De Beers. We added WCW main event ad. Promo. Change it up so we'll have ad constantly. 4 minutes. Hype pre-taped. Just quickly put in Bobby Eaton, Cactus Jack and Dory Funk. Nice, nice, nice. That hither, and just kind of one more match. Let's have a 2v2. Let's have the Hardcore Outlaws taking on the WCW Patriots. Shockingly, that match has never been done. And stick Cactus over as usual. I don't know what else to do. Lionheart and Scotty Flamingo put a promo mocking Van Hammer. Lionheart, Scotty Flamingo, and Van Hammer on screen. That should fill up the rest of time. 67%, so it would not be penalised. Barry Windham is wrestling with a bruised pectoral, that's fine. Should we squeeze another cheeky match in? Should we have Rude and Heel? Let's have Rude and Tully take on faces. Robert Gibson and Ricky Morton. And we can have Tully get the win. Perfect. And finally, let's run it. Got WCW Saturday Night opening. Yeah, just wanted to check the percentages. Scotty Flamingo defeated Gigante in 354 with a pile driver. Koloff says he has a lot of respect for Sting standing up for himself. Nikita looks at the camera and says he's sorry for what Vader has done to Sting and that he's only a phone call away for when Sting needs him. Arn Anderson defeated Adam Flash in 528 with the DDT. Got a main event promo. The Hardcore Outlaws defeated the Patriots when Jack submitted Todd Champion. Lionheart and Scotty Flamingo cut a promo mocking Van Hammer. Funk, Steve Williams and Terry Gordy defeated Pat Rose, Gene Lejeune and Rip Rogers when Funk submitted Pat Rose with a Texas Cloverleaf. Dory says he's ready to be NWA champion one more time. Windham and Rhodes defeated Armstrong and Parker when Barry Windham defeated Steve Armstrong with a lariat. Vader and Race talk about their combined championships. Rick Rude and Tully Blanchard defeated the Rock and Roll Express when Tully pinned Robert Gibson with a slingshot suplex. We then got a Wrestle War advert, and in the main event, in which Ricky Steamboat sustained a fractured cheekbone. The crowd, to be honest, really weren't into this. I didn't put a good together show. Steve Austin drew with Steamboat following a double count out. Sting talks about what it'll take to keep Vader down. 78, popularity in 19 regions. I can't honestly complain too much, especially since Steamboat's only really out for 19 days. All of that is perfect. We now have WF Superstars. 25 April 1992. But we'll save this one, I think. I have to make tea, so it's jobs time. Thank you, Michael Drake, for dropping in. I genuinely appreciate it, and I hope you enjoyed yourself. Stay safe. I'll probably be back tomorrow for another quick stream. So look after yourselves. I'll always be here. Enjoy.